Hey everyone, how is it going? It's the Fuzz. So I want to come to you today with a global ladder challenge, if you will. You could think of this as the Grand Fuzzy Bolt Challenge. You know, skipping the hero banning, just getting straight down to business. My goal here is very simple, is to bring about that sort of ladder play which I enjoy the most, which I think is the healthiest, that promotes more action on the board, that promotes less stalling, that sort of thing. So how does this challenge work? It's really very simple. You just build a deck with these few restrictions. There's only very few. And then just don't just think of it as a deck to challenge me. You just take these decks on ladder and encourage other people to use these restrictions so we can see the kind of meta that would develop with these few restrictions. Now, of course, if you're a new player watching this, you might not have very many cards. Go ahead and play whatever you want. I am aiming this towards those veterans that are like level 50 or whatever, that have the whole collection 3 times over and millions of gold. Try to change things up a little bit. So what are the restrictions? Well, they're actually very simple. The first and the biggest is no 4-offs are allowed. That is to say, you can only have 3 at most of a card. So what's the idea behind this? I got inspired to do this actually when I put together, actually I'm just gonna show you this deck. It's a random Wisdom Dominion deck. I changed this up since, but I put it together and I just started replacing random cards, throwing in like Blood Bowl Matriarchs and different things, and I was surprised just how much fun it was, because a deck with only 3-ofs, or you know, a lot less 4-offs, has a lot more kinds of cards in it, and so it's a less predictable deck, it's a less one-dimensional deck, it's a more adaptable deck, and it's just more interesting when your opponent pulls a random card you didn't know they had. That's cool. And I think 3-offs is the right number actually for Spellweaver. You might find this surprising because, well, this is a 60-card deck, right? But you have to consider the fact that something like 20 of those cards, give or take, are shrines, which are not only not playable cards, they will often redraw themselves. So the deck is actually a lot smaller than 60, if you think about it. Now, for the reference, I think Magic the Gathering should also not have 4-offs. I think it should have 3-offs. But that's beside the point. So that's the first restriction, and the second one is, well, there's actually going to be 2 of them. The second is no Horizons, and the reason for that is, I've always felt Horizons is too good of a turn 2 play, and it's the kind of card that if you run it in your deck, you always want it. And I just never liked this idea, because in control v control battles, it's often a situation where if one guy gets more Horizons, he gets to get his combo going faster, he gets to put down Scatterer's Bidding faster, he gets to put down Silencers faster, and it's really through no fault of the other player that they're falling behind. So I want to try it without Horizons. You can still play a control deck without Horizons. In fact, I'm going to attempt it with this deck in a little bit, which it doesn't have that many big super late game cards, but it has some, and trust me, you can get to 4 aspects fairly without having to play Horizons. And the lack of Horizons is going to necessitate that the control decks have to run more early game, and they can. Dominion, for instance, has plenty of great early game cards, which often weren't even run because you just Horizoned up to Cataclysm, and that was that. So let's get away from Horizons. I originally thought, well, if it's just a 3-off, like maybe it's not as big of a deal, but no, just if you get Horizons and your opponent doesn't in a control v control, that's just huge. It's really good. And just in general, in any game, if you don't get Horizons, you're already falling behind, and I just never liked it. I don't like that one card can do this. New Horizons is that sort of thing you should either always have access to or never have access to. The fact that it is the best turn 2 play if you're running it means that it's basically too good, I think. So anyways, and the third and last restriction, this is going to be a separate special list of cards which are restricted to just 2 copies. Currently the list only has Cataclysm. This card, I think, first of all, having 4 of this in your deck is not much fun, because a card like this that clears the whole board, it's a pretty huge effect. No other card in the game can do this, so it makes sense that it should be restricted. So if you only have 2 in your deck, you'll think twice before using it, because you might not see the second one at all. So I think it's a no-brainer card to put on the limited list or the restricted list. Borrowing some ideas from Yu-Gi-Oh here. And in the future, if there is good suggestions for other cards that should be limited, I will be very happy to incorporate them. But I couldn't think of any other card right now that is, you know, so decisive as Cataclysm. You could say, well, what about Horizons? Well, no. You don't want to have Horizons at 2, because then it's, again, you know, if you get it on turn 2, it's going to be great. If not, So, toss Horizons completely. By the way, Power Surge is fine. I think Power Surge is okay because, unlike Horizons, you don't ramp Aspect, so you can't splash as easily with it. And especially considering that the way Horizons works with Trigon, where you can basically get any color you want. Any of the 3. Power Discharge, you have to pay a card because you're basically gaining a mana without the card draw, whereas a Shrine always draws you a card. So it's like playing an extra Shrine without the draw. So there is a price, whereas with Horizons, you didn't draw a card anyways when you went up a Shrine. When you went up an Aspect, so it was no risk, really. So yeah, Cataclysm is going to go on the limited list, 2 ofs. And I don't know of any other cards at the moment. I'm sure some might come up. But anyways, so that's it. You know, make the deck with those few restrictions. Maximum 2 of Cataclysms, 3 of everything else, and no Horizons. And if you see me and, you know, online you want to challenge me, I'll always answer a challenge, no problem. And I just want to see, like, what this develops. I would actually like to see tournaments done with this sort of thing. So, devs, I know you're very busy, but hey, if you ever get any time, which may be never, considering that you guys seem to be working 24/7 as is, but maybe if there is like a different kind of a tournament, even if it's just for fun, I'm sure the higher level players would love to get in and just play around a little bit, and maybe spread a little bit of a good cheer for the new players to give them something to look forward to. So I'm going to show you my deck real quick, and I'm going to take it around for a spin for a couple games. I'm actually just going to like record the first 2 or 3 games, unless they're complete shit, then I'll just skip them. So the deck is mostly Dominion. The only things I have from Wisdom are Ancient Wisdom for card draw, Parallel Evolution for card draw, and also I think it's a hilarious card, and I just want to have this in my deck. And Power Discharge is just very useful all-around card too. I picked Advanced Despina because she gives you the most options. You can counter a lot of different things with her, because late game you have a lot of power by being able to steal creatures. If you're up against a mill deck, you can steal a Vulture or something and, you know, just unmill yourself. So that's just generally useful. And I'm a fan of Advanced Despina. I do think the effect should create a copy of the card and not straight up take it out of their deck. I think that's a little obnoxious. And I think you should not be able to, you know, tempt, as the hero power says, the same creature twice. So let's say you use the ability, you copy their Succubus, and then the next time you have to copy something else. That would be cool, but that's a story for another day. For the Dominion suite, we've got 2 copies of Vats. Vats is really cool, especially with Vampirism, and later on just being able to toss extra guys on the board. That's nice. It's not a focus of the deck or anything, but it's cool to have. 3 Soul Flames, it's just very good removal. 3 Vampiric Ashes, it's a great early game card and a vampire, and it works with Vampirism, well, because it's a vampire. 3 Prinhas, it's a vampire, and if you play it on 3 aspects, it's just amazing stats. Can also be useful as a removal against crap like Antriel, if you ever face it. These days, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Mistress of Shadows, oh man. This card is pretty awesome. I think this is the right way to punish aggro that carries a little bit of a risk. If you look at Mistress, okay, it's basically a Vanguard that draws a card and casts an Assassinate. Well, your opponent chooses the target. That's insane, right? But there's a catch. And the catch is that your opponent gets to hit you with it. So if they have a massive assault, you're going to take 4 damage, which could be bad. And you don't get to block with her when you play her. So you're kind of investing a little bit of tempo now and some life for a big swing the following turn. Also, if you're up against Enoch, they're going to sacrifice this for sure. just be ready with that. And this works negatively with Prinha before she's leveled up, and also with Jin. But for the most... Oh, and Vampiric Ashes. But for the most part, She works pretty well. She's a really, really cool card, and I want to see more cards like this. Definitely great anti-aggro tool, with a bit of a twist in that there may be times where you end up taking too much damage, and if you have a board yourself, you can't just play this because your opponent will trade into it unless you pull everything back. So it's a cool card. Double Vampirism. I like this card. I have a lot of vampires. If you just slam it down, and you have a board, it's a scary card, let me tell you. And again, a lot of vampires with whom it works immediately. There's actually a fun synergy with the Mistress, that if you have vampires when you play Mistress, the Mistress can attack immediately when you get her back. And because Vampirism hit the board first, well, actually I don't even know if that matters, but basically if you played a Vampirism and then you play a Mistress, when she comes back to you, she gets the buff from Vampirism, which is pretty nice. Bloodseeking Mutant, it's a vampire, a good anti-aggro, just all around solid. Double Helm, that's fun. Yeah, it's a good card. If your opponent can't answer, it can be devastating. Double Cataclysm because only 2 allowed. Oh well, I'm still gonna run 2. Blood Roll Matriarch, one of my favorite cards because it behaves differently in each game it's in. It'll sometimes be not that useful, and it'll sometimes be absolutely devastating. That's why it's only 2 copies, but it's a cool card to play around with. So, in case I didn't make it clear before, this isn't meant to be a super competitive deck. It's supposed to be an interesting new way to play, and we'll see where this takes us. Hopefully this deck isn't complete trash. 2 Dreylas. Is it 2? Yeah, 2 Dreylas. Just a good card. It's like a Mind Extortion, but you get a good body. I mean, just look at her body. I mean, 3/4, right? Amazing. That's obviously what I was talking about. 2 Scatterdoors, bidding, whatever. With Horizons out of the picture, this card is less good because it comes online a lot later, and you can't just play this by itself on turn 6 against the board because you'll just get smashed. So it's still useful though. It has its uses, but you definitely don't want like more copies. 3 Karthus. That's the main reason this deck even goes for aspects. Karthus is just a very solid card. So yeah, that's the deck. Oh, I also have Cathedral of the Night. I'm sure there's many different ways you could play. There's probably a lot of different ways you can play with mid-range. You could replace the Wisdom here with Rage, toss in some red dragons or something like that. Yeah. You guys are better deck builders than I am. So, show me what you can do. So, the challenge is now started. Hopefully more people pick this up and more people follow this challenge. This isn't an official challenge or anything. Like, you could just completely ignore everything I just said and just play whatever you want. But I'm hoping that, that we make things interesting. So, let's just queue in and see what we get. Alright. Let's do it. Whatever the name says. Sure, let's go with that. Okay, so I have no Horizons. I'm probably going to want to get a Mistress here. Oh, we got a Mistress and a Vampiric Ashes. Solid. Ooh. I think we're going to want to Mistress that. Definitely don't need bidding right now. Vampiric Ashes isn't going to be very good because he's going to attack me anyways. It could be Demons, but that's unlikely. It seems like he's just going to try to mill me. Maybe we'll get an idea of what his deck has. Parallel Evolution. Hopefully it's not the Sneck deck, because that's not too exciting, if you get my drift. I will play the Mistress here. I don't think damage is going to be a big issue here. So we get to kill one of these dudes off, and then we get a board to defend. Then we got Vampiric Ashes next turn. And I'm not sure what comes after that. I'm actually kind of rethinking Parallel because this deck doesn't have that many small creatures. Oh, he milled another Parallel Evolution. So he's got a mill deck. He might have Rage and he might have Azorus. It's certainly possible. Maybe I'll play Soul Flames. I think I play Soul Flames. Yeah, I think we're playing Soul Flames. I could play this. I mean, it's pretty tough. Do I get punished by consume? Not really. Alright, I'll play this, I guess. And next turn we can clear the stupid flying 1/1 with the hero power. And we're in good shape. We'll have to see if he has Azaris. It's entirely possible. So if I'm gonna be stealing, a Vulture seems like a good one. Assuming he has it, it stands to reason that he would have Vulture if you're playing a mill deck. But it could be demons. I mean, it's not clear, especially since this looks like a newer player. It's not at all clear as to what he's doing yet. Well, if he wants to make this deck, he has to engage the other one, so he doesn't just lose it for free. Interesting. No, we definitely... I could Soul Flames the dude, actually. I don't think I'm taking much damage. No, I don't want to mill anymore. So let's get that guy off the board. He's got a Ghoul. That's an interesting one. Oh, Mutant. That's pretty good. Yeah, definitely Mutant over... Mutant over the... hero power. Because it's basically the same effect, except I get a 3/3. I don't think I need life right now, since mill decks tend to not do very much damage. Oh, this is the parallel crap, I guess. But he milled 2 parallel evolutions, but he has a 3rd. That's really lame, actually. I'm gonna have to kill my own evolution, probably. Or play Mistress, if I get another one. Okay. Wait, why does this have a counter on it? Oh, because that was the mutant. Okay, well, that's not very useful. Well, he's 3 parallel evolutions down. Actually, I can actually transform this into one of his creatures, which is probably what I'm gonna do. So we'll do this. Yeah, we'll evolution the Void Touch into the next creature he plays. And that'll take care of the problem without having to waste the Soul Flames on it. Sure. He has Eleanor. Oh, that's pretty rude. Nah, I'll probably have to kill it off, because now that he haunted it... Nah, maybe I play Prinha then. Prinha under one of these? Nah, that's pointless. I do have to deal with this, though. I could parallel it into one of these. But then it's still haunted, right? Yeah, it's still haunted, so I gotta kill it. I only got 2 HP. Oh, I think it's because it seems to remember that the creature is like something else, because the mutant has 2 HP by default. So that seems to be the case. So I may be in the position to steal something. I should probably look for vultures. He hasn't played any. Actually, I mean, he's halfway through his deck, and he still hasn't shown a vulture. Interesting. Maybe I transform my Vampiric Ashes. Sure, buddy. Help yourself. Transform it. Probably need to start leveling soon. Seems likely. Well, that's good. Well... it's kind of good. I'm gonna have to lose my Vampiric Ashes, though, if I do this, which is a bit annoying. I'd have to wind up for a Cataclysm, most likely, sooner or later. I do want to play this because it draws me a card, but powering up Prinha is also really good. Oh, I guess we don't get to power up Prinha, after all. Could evolve this into the 3/2, and it could actually attack, which might force him to react. Oh, that's interesting. Because he'd have to block this. Let's see if he does. He has to block with his 3-2. Oh, he's just gonna give it to me. Interesting. It's really lame that I can't play, I can't go up Aspect right now. I can't set up these guys. I really want to. Because if I go up blue right now, I can't Cataclysm. I don't think I need to Cataclysm. I also really want to draw a card. Alright, let's draw a card. Oh my god, really? This is tempting. But I'm gonna lose. I have Prinha's probably leaving the board anyways. Maybe. It doesn't have to. I mean, yeah, Prinha's probably leaving the board. Because I could have gone up purple and it would have been a 3-4. Alright, fine. At least Prinha will block something. So it looks like I'm eating a mill here. It doesn't seem like I can avoid that. That's fine. I mean, I can Cataclysm next turn, but I really need to go up Aspect. I could Prinha one of these, actually. Possibly the Thought Devourer. And I can also hit him with my Thought Devourer. Like, he is just as low on cards as I am. It's kind of amusing. But I'm milling a lot of stuff, too. I milled both Karthuses. Oh, yeah, we got a Cataclysm. Yeah, we got a Cataclysm here. Because that's not gonna fly. Oh, wait, I get a 3-3 back. But I'd still probably have to Cataclysm. I don't necessarily have to Cataclysm. Oh, looks like I... Oh, he has a Vulture. Okay, so there are Vultures in his deck. But it's only the first Vulture he's milled? That seems unlikely. Yeah, I think we got a Cata here. Because I'm looking at a pretty deadly board. Oh, wow. Really? That's bullshit. That's definitely bullshit. I have to Prinha then. Kill that. Definitely is less attackers. Wow, that's crap. Alright, I could die now if he can attack with a 10-10. That's really lame. Like the second time I couldn't get my purple, so I can't make the better play. Oh, that's a pretty good attack if he makes that. For me, I mean. Okay, I will happily make these trades. I mean, he can bump up the Vulture if he wants. I'm okay with that. I don't even mill anything, and I kill his 10-10 unless he has some answer to that. Well, he'd have to kill it himself, which is also okay. The Vulture is back, I guess. Maybe. Does he have an... wait, can I even steal a Vulture? Okay, he had another one. And he has a Reanimate, too. He's gotta have 4 Vultures in his deck. How could he not? So Prinha cleans that up. I still think we need to Cataclysm, otherwise these Vultures are gonna eat me. Or I could make a Vulture out of this. That's definitely tempting. Or I could Karthus as well, which takes care of one of them. The thing is, he has a Reanimate. That's really annoying. But yeah, he has a Reanimate, but it's not sure what he's going to bring back. So maybe I can't Cataclysm here. Maybe I should Karthus. And I can actually make a Vulture pretty soon. could transform this into a Prinha. It'd actually be only a 2-3. But I don't know about that. Because, I mean, this could grow really big. Like, I could take 10 damage from him. Maybe I shouldn't worry about that, though. I probably actually should not care about that. Because he's obviously milling me and not doing damage. And I'm gonna probably parallel one of my guys into a vulture and just unmill the shit out of myself. I'm guessing he's gonna bring back... Oh, Eleanor. Really? Not the 10-10 or whatever the fuck it would be? The giant ass incarnate? Okay. This game has been more interesting than I thought. Oh, another reanimate? So that's his third. Is it Vulture? No, it's gotta be the 8-8. I think that's what he's more likely to bring back. But it could bring back the Vulture too. It does bring back the Vulture. I need to steal a Vulture from him, otherwise I will just lose. What's annoying is that I could very well do that and then end up not getting a Vulture. And I don't really want to parallel these necessarily, unless I have to. I'm pretty much just not blocking this Vulture at all. I haven't made much progress towards winning, but that's just how it is. Oh, come on, attack with a 1-1. Actually, I could double block it, and it'll die. How much more can he buff it? The 7-7? It's enough to kill it still. I really doubt it is a flash freeze. And Karthus, I think, gets me life here. Not that it really matters. Now he haunts it? Cloning vats. That's interesting. Well, okay. Now we're gonna go for a Vulture here. Ah, there we go. Nah, ha, ha, motherfucker. Let's start unmilling here. Doesn't really matter. Let's just start putting some Karthuses back in there. He's only one card, but he has his hero power. I definitely want to go like full turn on Vulture here right now. Like unmill 7 cards. He has a Ghoul as well. That's interesting. Man, this game is so long. It might just be the only game I do because we're already at 30 minutes. Yeah, okay, this is gonna be the only game I do. But see, this is cool. See, this is an interesting game. I mean, I'm not a big fan of milling, but whatever. At least I can steal. At least I have answers, right? Thanks to Parallel Evolution, I have answers to his garbage. If he attacks my Karthus with a 1-1, do I just let it go? Oh, he doesn't even attack it. Ooh, Vampirism. Fancy. And bidding. But I gotta unmill. Oh, we also have to kill this off. We could play bidding and go for life gain? I think life gain is gonna be the only way I can win here. Because once I drop Vampires, this will be able to hit for like massive damage. Or, I mean, I lose to double, what is it called? Oh, he did not get a Flash of Delirium back. All of his Vultures are dead? Oh, he sent one back, I think. I don't really need to hit face with this. Well, actually, I mean, it's not gonna block though, right? I don't think it matters very. I can just hit face. I doubt he will block this. And actually, if I play Vampires, I can ramp this up to some ridiculous amount. He does block. Are all of his reanimates gone? He's played a bunch of them. 1, 2, 4. All 4 reanimates are gone, so no more tricks. So we're at 26 HP. With Vampirism, I think he gets 2 of those stupid ass souls. But if this hits for 5, I can win in like 2 turns, actually, I think. If, oh, I think we need to Cataclysm here, actually. I think we do. Do I not have any more shrines? I might not, actually. Okay. I gotta do this. It was getting... Also, his stupid, Ah, crap. He drew his last one. Well, I can chump block that forever, I think. What do I want to steal from his deck, is the question. What is even... Arcadian Visionary. Deathbound? He might have more Deathbounds. Can I mill him? I mean, I'm just gonna send this back anyways. See, there's more shrines. Okay, no shrines. This is useless, really. Let's go for the vulture. Oh no, I can't get the vulture. Let's get the... wait, can I get the 1-1? There's only 1. He's gotta have more of them. He's gotta have more of them, right? I mean, he hits me with this, I lose, but... Okay, good. Because now I have more blockers. Now I'm up to 34, and I can win next turn if he doesn't flash me. But he's already played all 4, and unless he top decks Eleanor or something. Here we're gonna block with this, I think. Well, I'm actually not necessarily. Actually, no, with this. We need to block with a slave. Definitely. Oh my god, he top decked his last one. Wait, I thought he was out of those. Wait, what? Are you kidding me? His last 2 or 3 cards were exactly those? Parallel, Vulture, and fucking... Void Touched? Come on. Oh well. Okay, well that was long, so we're not gonna do another game, but I mean, I liked how things happened. I wish I had gotten Bloodwell, but he just milled so many cards and I couldn't get in time, but I didn't feel like the game was unfair. I don't like milling that much because it seems like a very passive way to win. But because of Parallel and Despina, I had some answers. And Bloodwell, these are the kinds of cards that give your deck the ability to adapt. That's cool. So, okay. I'm gonna say this was a successful game, a successful demonstration of the challenge. So, join me in the challenge. As a quick reminder, no 4-ofs, no Horizons, and only 2 of Cataclysm. If there's any other card you think should be restricted to 2 because it's annoying, maybe you think Parallel Evolution is one of them, let me know, and let me know in the comments and we can work on this. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you next time.